Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the A segment of episode 48 of The Loud House, Legends. We begin this segment with Lincoln explaining to the audience that while he does enjoy spending time with his dad, Lynn Sr., he admits that the two of them don't have many, if any, interests in common with each other, and they don't really have a thing they do together as father and son. We see some flashbacks while Lincoln is explaining that the two of them have tried to do activities that were within Lincoln's interests. They've tried to do activities that were within Lynn Sr.'s interests. And they've tried to do activities that neither of them have tried to do before, but nothing seemed to click for the father and son duo. But then one day, when they were watching TV, the two of them found out that they both enjoy Legends of the Hidden Temple, a game show that aired on Nickelodeon in real life in the past. And it turns out that the game show is about to film an episode that will feature father and son duos as teams. So naturally, Lincoln and Lynn Sr. wanted to participate. They sent in a video to demonstrate why they should be participants, and they even sent a tray of Lynn Sr.'s lasagna for extra measure. And yeah, Lincoln and Lynn Sr. are going to be on an episode of Legends of the Hidden Temple. And that's what Lincoln was building up to while he was explaining this to the audience. Eventually, Lincoln and Lynn Sr. arrived to where the game show is filmed, and Kirk Fogg, who was the host of the game show in real life, is the game show here, so he voices himself in this segment. And we also meet the rival team, because Lincoln and Lynn Sr. are the Orange Iguanas. The rival team, the Silver Snakes, are the Stanko father and son duo. We have Stan Stanko, who's voiced by Cooper Barnes, and Steak Stanko, who's voiced by Jace Norman. And, well, they begin the episode for this particular episode for Legends of the Hidden Temple. The Stankos have the advantage at first, but then Lincoln and Lynn Sr. do win one of the matches, the trivia questions match, and this infuriates the Stankos, who don't like to be made to look like fools. They don't like it when they're made to look like fools. And they eventually strong arm or they manage to provoke Lincoln and Lynn Sr. into engaging in a bet. So if Lincoln and Lynn Sr. win this particular episode of the game show, the Stankos will have to go through the airport wearing the Orange Iguana costumes when they're returning home after the game show. In contrast, if the Stankos win, Lincoln and Lynn Sr. will have to go through the airport in their underwear. So the two father and son duos agree to this bet, and they continue on with the game show's episode. But the Stankos have the clear advantage. They keep winning all these successive matches afterwards, and Lincoln and Lynn Sr. start to argue and feud with each other. But by the time the second to last match of the game show's episode is finished, that's when Lincoln and Lynn Sr. kind of realize how they're not getting along with each other very well, and they apologize to each other for not making the experience as it was intended to be, a fun thing to do as father and son. But the two realize there is still a chance that they can salvage this, as there is one more match left in this particular episode of the game show. The temple run through it's an obstacle course run. It's the Temple of Olmec, and they have to run the obstacle course. And so Lincoln and Lynn Sr. go first, and there's they make a few mistakes here or there, but ultimately they are able to succeed at I think it's a decent time. I think that's what they were saying. But the Stankos end up completing the obstacle course much faster than the Louds. So the Stankos have won this particular episode of the game show. So the next day rolls around where both the father-son duos are going to return home. And, well, Lincoln and Lynn Sr. do keep up their end of the bet with the Stankos. They go through the airport in their underwear. And while the Stankos try to make fun of the Louds and try to encourage the other people in the airport to make fun of them, the rest of the airport people actually applaud Lincoln and Lynn Sr. for being good sports about their defeat, and even complimenting them on their teamwork as father and son by the end of the game show's episode. So the Stankos are furious that they didn't really get a laugh out of this like they were hoping to, and they storm off, while Lincoln and Lynn Sr. are appreciating their progress as father and son. But then several members of airport security stop them, pointing out that they're breaking several airport rules. And the segment ends with these security people preparing to do a cavity search on Lincoln and Lynn Sr. Now, this segment stands out for being, you could say that this segment is the first crossover segment in the show. And as it was mentioned earlier, it's for Legends of the Hidden Temple, which was in fact a real game show that was on Nickelodeon in the past. But that game show has been over for a while now. I think there was a TV movie about it not too long ago, but otherwise the actual game show hasn't been on the air for quite some time now. So I guess you could say in the Loud House universe, this is an alternate universe where the game show continued on into the present day. And I do vaguely remember this game show, actually. I remember the obstacle course run through Olmec's temple, at least. So it did bring some memories to mind. I know they did change a few of the rules compared to the real-life game show for the show. Probably, again, maybe for budget reasons or time constraints and story reasons, what have you. But overall, it was pretty cool to see that memory pop up in my head again. Like, oh yeah, I remember watching this when I was younger. Now, the other big thing about this segment was it actually brought attention to Lincoln's bond with one of his parents, in this case, his dad, Lynn Sr. We did get to see Lincoln and Rita bond to an extent in the season 1 episode, A Novel Idea, so it was nice that they did a segment for Lincoln to spend time with his dad. And this was particularly interesting because it did bring up something that a lot of fans kind of felt. Like, I remember seeing a lot of fans felt that Lincoln doesn't seem to really bond much with Lynn Sr. all that much. And some fan works do go a little further with the whole Lincoln doesn't have much in common with Lynn Sr., but even so, this segment still brought that up. But it was at least mentioned in the segment that Lincoln and Lynn Sr. do enjoy spending time together. It's just that they couldn't find a thing that they could do together as father and son. But they were able to eventually find that in this segment, even though there was a bit of feuding during the game show's episode for quite some time. And they were good sports about their defeat. That's another thing. I know in these sort of competition or tournament or games segments, episodes, or storylines, I think there's been an equal amount of where the team you're supposed to root for wins or the team you're supposed to root for ends up losing. Like, I felt that both of those are fairly equal in number now, and again, it boils down to execution, not how many times the idea's been done before, if you wanted my 2 cents on it. And I thought this was well executed, so I didn't really have anything against Lincoln and Lynn Sr. losing the game show's episode, and I wouldn't have minded if they won either. Like, again, execution is what matters in these sort of things. Oh, and while we're talking about the game show, we might as well bring up the rival team, the Stankos. Stan and Steak. And yeah, they definitely served their role well as antagonists. They were kind of like those jerk jocks. A jerk jock father-son duo, and they served their role well. And well, we have another family introduced to us in the show, and well, I think I would say that they're the first family that kind of comes off as actually being outright antagonistic jerks. I mean, we've had some segments where some of the other family members, whether it's family members of the Loud family or the other families that appear in the show, where at least one of the members might have acted antagonistic at one point, but they've eventually mended fences and are on good terms with some of the other characters. And in the case of the Yates family were never really antagonistic, although the parents' goal of wanting to be well-rounded or have their kids be well-rounded sort of led to Lynn Sr. and Rita going too far with wanting to make their kids well-rounded. It wasn't intentional on their part. They weren't trying to make the Loud family feel bad. It was just like a unintentional case here. So the Stankos are actually outright antagonistic jerks, though, and like I said, they serve their role well. That's the point. They're supposed to be antagonistic jerks, and they did it well. And well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think they actually mentioned I don't think they ever said where the Stanko family were from. So, yeah, maybe they're not too far from where the Loud family live, because maybe they could return in the future, and we could see if there are any other family members. Like, they never really said if Steak had any siblings or not, so I wouldn't mind if they returned again. I mean, it would be interesting to see some more antagonists to oppose the Loud family, so yeah, I wouldn't object to seeing those two show up again. I think they served their role well, and if they do show up more, like I said, we could learn a little more about their family, and I'd be open to that. So at the very least, I'm sure that fans will take advantage of those characters to portray them as antagonists in fan works at the very least. But there you go overall. I thought this was an interesting crossover segment. It did bring back some memories from my past, even if they were on the vague side. And yeah, I thought the Stanko family serve their role as antagonists well, and I wouldn't mind if they returned in the future. And there we go for the A segment. As to be expected, we'll be discussing the B segment next. Take care, and until next time.